Hi, this is Christine with Ziedman Development. Today I'd like to walk you through the second part of working with recurring gifts in SalsaEngage and Importacular. And that is adding the recurring gift payments to the recurring gifts as they are already imported into Razor's Edge. So if you haven't already worked with setting up your recurring gifts in Razor's Edge, I do encourage you to stop this video and watch the setup video. Make sure you have all of your recurring gifts set up in Razor's Edge and then come back to this video to work with the payments. So this video will walk you through how you can link those payments to the recurring gifts. It will not walk you through importing the schedules. So if you need help with schedules, definitely check out our first video in this series. So you can see here on the screen, I have already selected my recurring gift payments as my activity type. I have adjusted my fetch activity from date just to make sure that I pull some sample data. You do want to make sure that you're paying attention to those dates. They default to the last time you open the software. So once you get your import and your template set up, you may not need to do anything with them. But if you are opening this multiple times and adjusting the template and you haven't imported, you will want to backdate that date in order to make sure you get all of your gifts into Razor's Edge. The fetch activity date 2 does default to the moment when you opened this, so that you should be able to leave as is. So click OK. It's going to download our data. And once the data is downloaded, then we can work with our template and go ahead and proceed from there. So our data has processed, and we can see that we are working with that SalsaEngage data source. We have 5 records for review. Now we need to make sure we select the appropriate template. So I have named my templates based off of the different activity types because that makes it easier for me to remember which one works with the activity type I've selected. So today we're going to work with my recurring gift payments, not my recurring gifts. The recurring gifts was what I used for the setup, and this is what I used for the payments. So we're going to click on the pencil here. That allows us to edit our template. It also allows us to view that template. So much of this template I'm not going to cover in detail because it does go through areas that we have set up in other templates. So we do have a constituent mapping. You have to have that for any template. I have added my constituent code, my address, and my email. Those are always helpful to have just as ways to make sure that you're matching to the correct person. But the area that I want to focus on today is on the gift tab. There's a couple of things here that I do want to walk you through. So the first thing is you can see I have 2 separate mappings. We start with the gift mapping because that's where you always start when you're working in the gift tab. Our gift mapping is going to look very similar to a one-time gift mapping. So if you've already watched the fundraising one-time gift video, this is going to look really similar to that. We've added all of our required fields. The one thing that we have changed is that we did include the recurring payment amount. So that way we could have that full amount based off of what they're paying on a recurring schedule. The one thing that would be different between this template and your recurring gift setup template is that on this template, we have chosen the type of cash. So if you're newer to Razor's Edge, this may seem odd to you because in Razor's Edge, once you've applied the payment to a recurring gift, the type becomes recurring gift pay cash. So we don't have that as an option in our gift types here. So by choosing cash, when this gift is applied to the recurring gift payment in the batch, it's going to be committed and it will say recurring gift pay cash in Razor's Edge when it's committed. So selecting cash here doesn't mean this is going to say cash once it's committed, because if it is linked to a recurring gift or if it's linked to a pledge, the pay type, or not the pay type, the gift type will change when the gift is committed. So we do want to leave it on cash. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and close that. We have walked through how you can map a gift in other places, so I'm going to focus more today on how we're matching this gift to that setup. So if you need more help with mapping a gift, definitely encourage you to check out our other resources. So the other thing that I have mapped here in order to help us map these gifts exactly to the correct recurring gift setup that they need to be linked to, I've created a gift attribute for my recurring gift ID. So you can see here that I created a category in my gift attributes called Salsa Gift ID. You can name this whatever you would like, but that's what I've chosen to do. And then I have the date as the activity date, and then my description, I have selected recurring transaction ID. So what that recurring transaction ID does is it links every payment to the appropriate recurring gift. So if you have added that recurring gift as an attribute to the recurring, that ID, that recurring transaction ID, to the setup for the recurring gift. So on the recurring gift record in Razor's Edge, you've added this attribute with that same transaction ID. Then if you've added this transaction ID to all of the payments, that's going to help Importacular link these very exactly. So that's what I've set up here. And then once we've gotten these two fields set up, we're going to use the area settings on the gift. And that is going to allow us to work with the recurring gift area. So I have selected, I still want my gifts to import into a batch. I have selected that these gifts are going to pay towards a recurring gift. And you can see that attribute that I set up. So I have said that we're going to map with this gift attribute. Here's the name of that attribute. And we're going to copy the campaign fund and appeal from the gift. You could choose not to copy those if you wanted to. That's just what I've chosen to do. I do have some options set up here for what I want to do with matching. So this is really helpful with pulling those payments, because on the chance that you were to accidentally change your date range and pull gifts that you've already pulled into Razor's Edge, if you match on these settings, Importacular won't add the payment if it finds a match already in Razor's Edge. So you definitely want to check this out if you think you might accidentally overlap. The other thing I've changed here is I've asked it to create an exception if there's a missing key field, just to make sure I don't miss importing any gift. And then finally, on the third area of my gift area settings, on this third tab, then I have told it that if there's no match found, then I want to generate an exception. So what that's talking about is if there is no recurring gift in Razor's Edge for this payment, create an exception so that you can go back and look and see if there should be a recurring gift. You can also work with what happens if a matched amount is different than what the gift is supposed to be. So what to do with that, what to do if the next transaction date is too far off of the date that you're importing this payment from, and what to do if the next transaction is not active, if there should be an exception. So you do want to check those out and make sure that you set them according to your data standards. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Once you have your settings here, we can save and close our template. We would, as always, add our control report. And then we can go ahead and continue to process our information into Razor's Edge. So because I already have all of these constituents in Razor's Edge from when I imported my recurring gifts, all of my actions to take are saying update. You can see that we've got our tabs here, so we can see our constituents, we can see our addresses, and we can see our gifts. And then once we import this, as always, it's going to create a batch. You can review your batch before you commit it and the gifts go into Razor's Edge. I hope this helps you understand how to apply those recurring gift payments to this recurring gift setup in Importacular, using Importacular and SalsaEngage. Thanks and have a great day.